The day of fate has finally come. It's been well over a year since we got the first teaser trailer for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, but the game is finally here. The game has been hyped up so much this past year. The game looks flashy and colorful, and I've seen some people call it the perfect Dragon Ball game. Hell, the best fighting game ever made. However, I have a Cyberman style bomb to drop on all of you. Sparking Zero is mid at best. IGN gave it a 7 out of 10, and you know what I have to say?
Let him cook!
There are a lot of flaws with this game, ranging from simple issues with the menus to the fighting and combat itself. One of the first things I do when I get a new fighting game is to check out the training mode. A good training mode should be straightforward and give you all the tools you need to learn how to play the game. Sparking Zero's training mode is actually pretty good. You can get through the super training pretty fast, and the regular training mode gives you just what you need to adjust the CPU eventually, and I'll get to that bit later. One issue I have though is the perception stance is relegated to just a simple text tab. I wish you could actually learn how to use the stance properly with Piccolo, because in one of Goku's episode battles you have to bounce back Jace's Crusher Ball to trigger Burter coming in. Now you can set the difficulty lower for this battle to make him spawn just by beating Jace, but I wish I had the option to really learn how to bounce back beam attacks. But it turns out the way you do bounce them away is just by holding the B button. You don't have to time it perfectly right, you don't have to press a left or right input, no, you just press and hold the B button, and then the game automatically does it. But why would you do that when you could just vanish the beam? It doesn't use a skill point and it barely costs any ki. As long as you've got the timing right, you can just punish your opponent for wasting 2 or 3 bars of ki. How is this satisfying? Yeah, it looks flashy, but when can you really do this? If your opponent throws out a beam from a mile away, just vanish or block it. If they do it mid-combo, just vanish it. It takes time for your character to properly get in the stance to bounce it back, so trying to get into that stance and predict the beam, it's more risky than just holding block and just pressing the bumper to dodge it when they do fire the beam. Speaking of the episode battles, everything after Goku's campaign feels lackluster. There are a lot of fights missing in the characters' campaigns that should be there. Remember how everybody got their asses kicked by Grade 8 Vegeta? Why can't we play as the big monkey in Vegeta's campaign?
Just for that, I'm going to crush you like a... Just for that, I'm going to crush you like a...
It would be a good way to teach the player how the bigger characters function, but no, he just instantly starts at Namek. Also, he doesn't even get his rematch with Zarbon, it's just relegated to a cutscene. A lot of the fights are relegated to cutscenes, I get it, not every fight needs to have its own fully dedicated battle, but there are some fights that should be there that just aren't. Vegeta didn't get anything for Dragon Ball Super, and yeah, a lot of the other characters' campaigns have Vegeta show up, but not him specifically. Where's his fight against Toppo? Oh, you have to do Trunks' campaign to get that. Well, what about his fight with Frost? The Small Universe 6 tournament was cut entirely. Now, as I said, some fights do happen in other characters' campaigns, but feels like a lot is missing. The story mode feels so half-baked, like the idea is that you have to make the fights you want to see in custom mode. You don't even get to fight the Ginyu Force as Gohan or Vegeta, you have to make your own custom battle to fight them all. The only time you do get to fight them is with only Goku in a Sparking episode, and you fight all 5 again and again and again. You don't even get to use your teammates to do it. Hello?
Hey, it's me, Goku!
Look, Goku, it's 2 a.m. What do you want?
Share your energy with me for a spirit bomb!
Again? Bro, this is like the 5th time today. I can't do this, dude. I'm exhausted.
Share your energy with me!
I really don't think Goldo deserves this, man.
And me your energy!
Look, I'm gonna call you tomorrow, and you better tell my boss what happened, okay?
Done!
I swear to God, if this happens again next week, dude, I can't.
12 seconds later.
Share your energy with me for a spirit bomb!
Also, the fight requirements to get the alternate fights are too cryptic. The map has 3 question marks for alternate paths, but when you open the menu mid-fight, it tells you the alternate win condition you need to get. Why can't it just tell you that on the map from the get-go? I don't get it. For example, in order to get Vegeta's split path after he's being mind controlled by Babidi, you have to go to the previous fight and do the alternate win condition. You have to make sure you open the menu and then look for, oh, don't take too much damage from Trunks. Look, I get it. A lot of these alternate win conditions involve either doing something that the anime did or just beat them quickly. So odds are you probably did beat Trunks relatively fast without taking too much damage, but if you didn't, how the hell do you know what you need to do differently? The green split path option is on the dialogue box, not on the fight itself. I fucking hate the time-based missions. Why the hell isn't the timer shown? If I have a minute and a half to beat the CPU, why can't it tell me? It got to the point where every time the CPU hit me, I instantly reset the fight, because I know every second counts. If I waste 5 seconds with them comboing me, hey, maybe that's 5 seconds that I needed to actually get the win.
Take this!
This is working. God damn it! I hate this shit! Oh my god! Please hit. Of course it didn't. Of course.
Forget it.
This is not fucking fun! Or at least that's how it feels, because I have no idea how much time I actually have. The more I played the episode battles, the more I started to hate it. But then eventually, I found the best strategy to plow through the final episode battles, and I'll get to that in a bit. I beat every character's campaign, and I swear to God, if I have to fight another Black and Zamasu, or Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks again, I'm gonna go Super Saiyan 2 myself. I think it's retarded that you have to buy CPU AI scripts from the store. It was bullshit when Tekken made you pay for frame data, and yeah, this isn't as bad as that because you use the in-game currency instead of real money, but there are so many characters and costumes you can buy, so why are these in here? It's just there to make you waste more money, to make you have to buy more shit from the store. Also, when you first access this tab, you have to choose between shop and customize, but if you do buy these new items, you know, a couple battle items and a costume for a character, you have to back out entirely and then go back into customize. It's just, why? Why can't I just go from shop to customize? It's just annoying. But you want to know something that's even more annoying about the shop? You are unable to buy multiple items at once. You can accumulate a lot of money, especially with the Dragon Balls. So you'll probably try to buy as many items as you can at once, but every single item makes you select, purchase, okay, select, purchase, okay, select, purchase, okay. There are so many voices and battle items you can buy. It is bullshit that you can't just mass select as many items as you can afford. So the roster also has a couple issues, specifically with the shafting of Dragon Ball. Yeah, we have Krillin, Roshi, Tien, etc., but they're from their Z and Super versions. The only original Dragon Ball character we get is Teen Goku. Where's Tao Pai Pai? Where's General Blue? Where's Demon King Piccolo? Sadly, the next few DLC packs were pseudo announced, and it's going to be some superhero characters followed by Daima. I fucking hate how we get that ugly fat bitch Ribrianne instead of something cooler like Commander Black in his giant robot suit. Now, I do believe we'll get a Dragon Ball DLC pack in the future, but there should be at least 1 or 2 other Dragon Ball characters in the base roster. I hate the idea of, oh, the DLC will add it later, therefore it's not an issue now. Okay, I have been bitching about all these issues, and I didn't even get to mention how this game still tells the narrative that Yamcha is a cheater, and it's only Bulma who always says that, but whatever. Beyond all of these problems I have with the story mode and the iffy menus, the question remains, is the core gameplay still fun? Well, it's flashy, it has a lot of bright colors and cinematics. This game looks good, but it's the equivalent of shaking keys in front of a child. The gameplay has so many issues. The clash systems with beams and grabs feels unintuitive and weird. I can very rarely tell if I'm doing it right until the clash is over. The whole where the hell did my opponent go bit when a new character pops in is bullshit. It completely ruins the pace of the match. It's extremely dependent on the stage you are on. Some stages like the World Tournament and the Tournament of Power don't have this kind of issue, but the basic Wasteland and the city stages suck ass with this mechanic. It's not even like a line of sight issue, because there are many times when I can see the opponent, they're right there, but won't let me lock onto them. Sometimes I can't properly find them because the camera is so fucking sensitive. It jerks around way too fast to the left and to the right. This kills the flow of the match entirely. If you spend maybe 5 to 10 seconds hoping to lock onto them, all that time, you know what they're doing? They're charging their ki. And oh, look at that, they're in sparking. Oh, and they just hit me with their ultimate attack. Not only do they get their damage and their momentum from using their ultimate attack, but some supers do cause this where are they mode. Why? That just sucks ass. It's one thing if you have to use like the solar flare attack, because you have to use your skill points to use that move. But why do some ultimate attacks cause this? I played a lot of fighting games, and when you get hit by a super, you get knocked down. The reward you get is the damage and the knockdown, so maybe this is that kind of equivalent. You know, maybe this is where you get the high-low left-right mix. But even then, it just feels horrible. All you can do is mash buttons and pray the camera finally locks on. Now, sometimes you do automatically lock onto them when they just pop in, but sometimes you don't. It's inconsistent and feels like shit. And now I do understand that if the opponent is charging their ki, you know, sometimes you are able to see them. But when the camera's jerking around to the left and to the right, it's disorienting. The time it takes to finally lock onto them and dash at them, that's all the time that they need to get back into sparking. But the thing that feels the worst is the answer to every piece of combat is just vanish it. Is your opponent hitting you? Just vanish it. Is your opponent throwing out Kamehamehas from full screen? Just vanish them. It's like the Ken flowchart meme from Street Fighter 4. Every single interaction boils down to, can you vanish it? And if you can, do it. The only strategy that I found that can't really be vanished is to throw out a couple ki blasts followed by a Dodon ray. If they bounce the ki blast away, they can't really vanish the Dodon. And if they block it, they take some chip damage. But playing like this feels antithetical to how the game expects me to play it. But why would I throw out raw supers or blindly run in with a dash attack? The moment I fly in, I run the risk of them vanishing any attack I do. If I throw out a Kamehameha and they vanish it, they have so much time to charge their ki. Oh, now they're in sparking, because I had the audacity to try to throw out a beam from full screen. If I get a throw with Tien and try to do a Dodon Ray, they can just vanish it. If I try to do a follow-up attack after the throw, they can just vanish that follow-up attack. So the only option I have after successfully getting a throw is to just Meteor Smash. So that means I only have 2 good options after throwing my opponent. Meteor Smash or don't. Everything else is either too risky and not worth trying. I rely so heavily on my opponent screwing up. Oftentimes, they don't vanish the moves I throw out, and every time they don't dodge my attacks, I just think to myself, they should have just vanished. There is a difference between me winning by outplaying my opponent and winning by my opponent messing up. If I have my opponent in the corner, I'm pressuring them, I have them on the ropes, I'm mixing them up with my overhead and low attacks, I bait out one of their moves and then punish accordingly and win, that's me outplaying them. However, if they get their hit on me, but drop their game-winning combo, and then I win because of that, that's me winning because they screwed up. I get that not everybody will understand what I'm saying here, but it's not a very satisfying way to win, at least not to me, and that happens all the time in this game. I'll hit them with dash attacks, with beams, and I just think to myself, you could have vanished that. Yeah, I get that it's hard, but that option is always there. You wanna know why a lot of people say that this game is so frustrating and hard? Because deep down, everybody understands that that is the key strategy to winning in this game.
So that means no tickling.
Is this physical contact?
Don't touch me! I'm serious! Don't touch me!
But you wanna know what's even more unsatisfying? Solving a game that's supposed to have some complexity. I have a game-winning strategy that can steamroll through all the CPU battles you'll ever come across, and it even works online. Most games have strategies referred to as cheese, but let me introduce you to the Dick Cheese strategy. Now follow along really closely, this is gonna be super hard to understand. So you activate sparking, then mash the attack button. It's literally an unbeatable strategy. You just wail on your opponent until they pop out of the combo, and then you do the homing attack, get behind them, keep going, and then you do that 2 or 3 times, and then before sparking wears off, you hit them away so you can get back into sparking. Rinse and repeat. But Chaz, that's where the super counter comes in. You can just counter the opponent when they mash the basic attack string. Fuck! Damn it! Fuck! I'm a retard! Oh, damn it! Why didn't I think of that? Damn it, you're right! It's impossible now! If only that there was something I could do in response to their counterattack! The moment you do this kind of strategy, you force your opponent's hand. You can activate perception during this whole attack streak so you can counter their revenge counter. If they try the other counter, you just lock them into a vanish chain. And remember, you are in sparking, so you probably have the meter advantage. As long as you lock in, there's nothing that they can do. They have to take this in one way or another. I did this strategy on the super CPU level, and it worked just fine. But you wanna know what's even funnier about this cheese strategy? It's actually not true. After the first 8 or so hits, they can block it, but the CPU is too retarded to do that. The second you start blocking this attack streak, you can perform the perception counter, but the CPU never does it. How? How do they this up so poorly? Is this really the AI that's so hard? Everyone struggles against this AI. If you're struggling with Jiren's episode battles and stuff, just do this strategy. It's literally unbeatable, at least against the CPUs. I tried using this strategy on ranked, and to my surprise, it still worked.
Here we go. Oh my god, the blatant disrespect.
Oh wait, I gotta find them,
Yep, here we go. Yep, there we go. Yep. Yep. Yeah. Ole.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Oh. Yep, and again. Astronauts and Shikoku. Yeah, I'm just solos everyone. Yep. Just dodge. Oh, this is brutal.
The Tinkler! Thank you for being the victim for this stream! Holy thank you for being the sacrifice! Oh my god! How does this work against people? The answer to beat it is literally just block it! Now, you are unable to block if the opponent does get behind you, which you can do after doing a Dragon Dash or a Vanish, but the thing is, those options do have counterplay. Those aren't just free options you can do. So until my opponent shows me that they know how to counter this strategy, I'm just gonna keep doing it. I'm just gonna keep cheesing out some wins. And the dumbest part about this is that the game itself has an auto block function. If you just go into settings, you can turn on and make sure the game itself forces you to block when you can. So even the most piss-ass, shitty gamers, the people that don't know how to block at all, can still turn this on and beat it. How? How does this work against anyone? I don't get it. This is the fighting gamer inside of me that's making me look at the combat from a more analytic perspective. I like looking at frame data and trying to understand how my moves work. But the game doesn't really feel fun to me with this kind of strategy. Deep down, I really don't like just wildly mashing buttons like this. I don't like how every option in this game is met with, but what if they vanish it? I get my fun and enjoyment in fighting games by analyzing all the options I have available to me. It's like a big puzzle. This combo is used here. This knockdown setup is used there. Here's a character-specific piece of tech that I remembered for this matchup. I like learning how to optimize my damage and meter usage. but I solved the puzzle in Sparking 0. The puzzle is literally just Sparking plus Vanish. Now, it is tricky to set up because people won't just let you get away with charging your key. But if you play a character that can activate Sparking with a skill, like Yamcha or Videl, you'll probably get it more consistently. Like, yeah, I know it's not a perfect strategy. There are holes in it, and it's reliant on you properly vanishing them online with lag, but it does work. I don't get how people can say that this is the best Dragon Ball game. Why? Because we get to see cool and flashy cinematics? Well, can you even land those cinematic moves when all your opponent does is vanish out of the way? Obviously, you'll miss one here and there. You're gonna fuck up a vanish. I get that. But you should always try to do it. There's no reason not to. And if you play a character with the after image skill, you can afford to mess up a vanish here and there. Every other option is inferior to doing a vanish. It's not like it costs a lot of key to do, and the whole vanish chain you and your opponent can do is cool the first time you do it, but the 4th or 5th time in the same match just gets old. And look, I get that playing like this, some people might say, that's such a bitch ass way to play. Here's the thing, I'm playing to win. And I win by optimizing my options, and the most optimal option in this game is always just vanish it. You can call me a bitch ass scrub all you want. Now, I actually do have an idea or two on how to solve some of these issues. Number 1, limit when the opponent can vanish. They should not be able to vanish mid-combo unless it's in response to another vanish attack. If you're playing Tien and you get the throw on the opponent and you do a Dodon Ray, they should not be able to vanish that. You use your meter, they f***ed up, you should get the reward. However, after you get a throw, you are able to follow up with the punch vanish attack string. So here's a good risk reward option the Tien player can take. Do they spin the bar that they might need for later and just get the guaranteed damage, or do they take the risk with the slightly less damage but more key efficient vanish string? But then that runs the risk of the opponent being able to vanish that. That's a perfectly fine risk reward the player can take. But the second Tien gets his grab, that is it. You should always expect them to be ready to vanish whatever follow-up you do. So you need to just cut it there every time, even if you have all the meter you want. Change number 2. Make it so you can grab the opponent out of their perception stance. Or maybe make it use a skill point to tech a throw in perception. That whole sparking cheese that I demonstrated would fall apart with the change that you cannot vanish their super counter. If you just wildly mash X, you're gonna get countered. But remember, the counter input is up in X, and X is the attack button. So if you predict their counter, you can make them perform an attack by delaying your string, and then you can counter that attack with your perception. But now your opponent saw you do this, so now they're anticipating you're going to delay your string and activate perception. And now guess what they'll do? They're going to throw you instead of attacking. And now you are unable to tech their throw. You got into your counter stance, you messed up, and now you have to deal with what they're going to do now. This kind of change will bring back the rock, paper, scissors style of interaction that fighting games have built themselves upon. Hit beats throw, throw beats counter, counter beats hit. Every single fighting game kind of follows this formula. It's such a simple way of building your fighting game, but it works. Look, I know I'm getting really rambly and autistic right now, but the thing about perception, it's a very strong stance to get in. It can counter basic attacks, it can counter charged heavy attacks in your rush strings, it can counter supers if you have the skill points for it. There's no definitive way to break someone out of their perception stance beyond hitting them with like ki blasts and stuff. But the problem with trying to hit someone with charged ki blasts, that's not really gonna win you whole matches. It's an okay amount of damage, but I just genuinely think throw should be a direct answer to this. That's how it is in every other fighting game, and I think that's how it should be here. So I actually had my friend try to test out these options, try to figure out how we can properly beat this sparking mode strategy. And this is actually where I find some enjoyment in fighting games. I like going to training mode, trying to figure shit out, trying to understand that this can counter that, that's an answer to this. So I will admit that these interactions do have some more layers than I initially gave them credit for. I truly hate how the only reliable way to break perception is either with a fully charged ki blast or with a vanish attack. You should be able to throw the perception. That, I just will never get over that. At the very least, I take solace in knowing that I'm not the only one bitching about this game. I've heard a couple other people have complaints about how this game feels.
The mess. It's like they put a million fucking mechanics in it and they expect you to just learn them off the bat? How? There's too many mechanics in the game.
Bless his poor old heart. #1 North American Super Turbo player, the king of hate. You gotta love Darkside Phil. He's completely wrong in this statement. This game actually has a fine amount of mechanics. The problem is how they all interact with one another. So one of the mechanics that I think needs tweaking is the fact that if you press up on the left stick after you get hit down, you can perform a dash before you hit the ground to dash back in. But the issue with that is a lot of the times when you're hit down, the camera is not pointing at the ground. So how the fuck are you supposed to understand when you're about to hit the ground to get back in? Like, these kind of mechanics are fine. It's just how they're implemented. They need some tweaking here and there. You are able to vanish way too many attacks. Perception and super counters ruin any kind of offense you will try to make way too easily. But Chaz, you're looking at this from a 2D fighting game perspective. This is a 3D game. It's different. Well, here's Dark Souls. You can use a bow or a crossbow in this game. You can actually zoom in and aim with these weapons. But it's a bit slow and janky, and sometimes the arrow just gets stuck in an invisible wall. But Dark Souls is not a first-person shooter. Guess what? Games can take ideas and inspiration from other genres. If a shooter game uses RPG-style stat buffs, it's still a shooter game with some RPG elements. Persona games let you rizz up some babes, but you wouldn't really call the Persona series a dating simulator. 3D arena fighters can use 2D fighting game ideas and mechanics just fine. It's just a matter of how you incorporate them and make them fit better in a 3D environment. The argument that, oh, it's just a 3D arena fighter is such a disingenuous one. This isn't a 2D fighting, Bruta? Yeah, and that's why it's dog shit. This game's trash. Like, just because it's not a 2D fighting game, that doesn't excuse it. It's only ever brought up when people are criticizing the genre and comparing it to, 2D fighting games. Oh, it's a 3D one, therefore it's okay for it to be a mediocre, janky, pretty unbalanced piece of shit. Do we see this argument used with other genres? Oh, this is a Soulsborne style game, therefore it's okay for the bosses to be just blatantly unfair and super shitty to fight. Oh, this is a Sonic game, therefore it's okay for it to be a glitchy, janky piece of shit that's way too overpriced. Why do 3D arena fighters get a pass? Oh, because this one looks pretty. God forbid they want the game to be better. Now look, I understand the game's not meant to be balanced around the roster. Obviously, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is going to be better than Yamcha. I can accept that. But what it should be balanced around are the game mechanics themselves, the mechanics that every single or almost every single character share. And there are some mechanics in this game that just aren't balanced properly. This game's combat was made for the guy who can't handle getting comboed in a traditional fighting game. It's too hard, the combos are too long, why can't I stop them, etc, etc, etc. So now we have a game where you can escape almost everything. You can sidestep this combo, you can vanish that move, you can perception counter this, you can revenge counter that. Alongside that, some combos just don't work. The game tells you to press up and Y to launch up the opponent, follow up with A, then press XY for a short combo that knocks them down, but it never works. They can always just block the very last knockdown follow-up. The only time it ever works is when they aren't facing you. But that's how 90% of these combos work. You turn the opponent around, you get behind them, and then your shit works. Why would the game tell me to do this specific kind of combo if it always fails? Why can't it tell me, oh, just be sure your opponent's facing away from you? I don't get it. Combos in this game are so easy to get out of, and they fail all the damn time. And on top of that, guess what else is also not true as a combo? Throw into beam. Yeah, it turns out they can always just block the follow-up beam, at least with Tien and his Dodon Ray. I don't know, is everybody just so stupid that they just let me get away with this? Like, I get vanishing it, whatever, but the fact that you can block it, it's never real? Why the hell is it not? You would assume that this would be the most opportune time to finally throw out a beam, but you can't. Unless the beam is an unblockable one, why the hell would you do it? No, seriously, I'm asking this for real. When the hell can you ever throw out a Kamehameha? You can't do it from full screen. You can't really do it in their face because they could just perception counter it if they have the skill points, or they could just vanish it. You can't do it mid-combo because they could just vanish it. So what's the point in throwing it out? The reason why the sparking strategy is so degenerate is because that's the most optimal to do. Legitimately, you should never, ever use your bar unless you're doing some kind of other degenerate strategy. I banished that, I swear to God.
That's that. Now I'll show you what I can do.
God!
That's that. Got you running cat.
God damn, get the f up! What?
What I can do.
What is this? What is this f***ing trash? Why the f can't I get up?
Now I'll show you what I can do.
Like, look at this. This game is so f***ing horrible.
Created a wall of photographs here to just keep me depressed so I don't laugh and lose this competition. The what I call horrific realities of existence. As you can see, there's a man about to club a baby seal. They're cute, and they shouldn't be clubbed to death, obviously.
Fucking tell me that this is good gameplay. Fucking tell me that this is fun. This is what I mean by the game rewards the laziest strategies possible. It's so poorly thought out. Oh, but maybe I'm just failing to vanish and dodge his attack properly. Look at that! It always comes back to just vanish it. Every game has some kind of fucking skill ceiling. The most skilled you can get at this game is based entirely on how well you can get at pressing the right bumper to vanish. That is it. I wanted to make sure that no one can hit me with the "you just didn't play it enough" or "you just don't understand the game." I have played over 40 hours in this game from this past week since early access. I beat every character story campaign, and I played a lot of ranked matches, and I've gotten every achievement Steam has to offer. Also, while I'm thinking about the achievements, fuck the Piranga achievement. This game always gives you a set of basic Dragon Balls and Super Dragon Balls for some missions, but not the Namekian ones. I spent over 2 hours trying to farm for this set of Dragon Balls. It makes no fucking sense that the game doesn't automatically drop them in the episode battles or as a mission reward. Look, 99% of the time, I'm a fucking retard. I get that. I admit to that wholeheartedly. I will never fail to just say I'm an idiot. But when it comes to fighting games, when it comes to how this game feels, I know what I'm talking about. Oh, but I didn't just grind out ranked long enough to reach the top 100 of the player base. Oh, I didn't put in 50 or 100 hours into this game. I don't know what I'm talking about. This game is like a cake. It's so beautiful on the outside. The icing is perfect, and the construction of the cake itself could not have been better. But once you finally get a slice of it and taste it, you realize it's kind of bland. Like a $2 just add water box cake. After you get through the menus, the funny opening dialogues, and then finish the custom battle you put together, you're met with the most mid-ass gameplay. You can call me a hater all you want. And if you do have an issue with my opinion on this game, you know what? Subscribe, ring the notification bell, find out when I'm going live, and challenge me to some games. We can throw hands and find out who ideals are true, just like Zamasu and Black versus Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks for the 50th time. I just don't get the hype for this game. Maybe it's because deep down, I yearn for the warm, gentle, sweet, comforting embrace that only a Cyberman can give me. But overall, the game is way too flawed. Are a few cutscenes and funny images really enough to say that a game is perfect? This proves that all you need to get people to dick ride your game are pretty visuals, fan service, and nostalgia for a game series that ended 17 years ago. If all you want from this game are the funny character interactions,
If you can punch me in the face, I promise I'll take you to that amusement park you're always going on about.
No cap, let's go!
I did it! See how you like the death pose!
just go watch a YouTube video showcasing them. If you're interested in the sparking episode battles, watch a YouTube video showcasing them. I paid over $100 for early access, and I've been waiting over a year for this game. And the main part of the gameplay, the structure, the spine, the core part of this game feels either boring or just frustrating. And if you try to tell me that I should just install a couple mods, I'm gonna stop that right there. Look, some of these mods, they are really funny. Look, we got Gohan Blanco and El Hermano, even Adachi has been added to this game as a mod. But no amount of modding this game is going to suddenly change the vanishing and the combat and all of that. A couple funny character model swaps here and there is not going to suddenly make me enjoy this game. Not even Adachi can make me like this game. And when you hear that coming from me, you know something is wrong. 99% of this game boils down to just vanish it. If you can vanish it, well then good job, you're probably gonna win. And if you can't vanish it, well just get better at vanishing, and then just vanish everything the opponent throws at you. Be like the father that left to go get some milk and vanished out of your life. Also, GT Goku's tail does not turn gold when he transforms. 0 out of 10 game, literally unplayable.